Dance has always been an outlet for me. I've danced my entire life, and from a really young child, it was always kind of an escape from just the hardships that I had growing up in my family. So it was a safe haven, a place to go to get away and just let go of the world and my troubles, and just a place to express, whether it was joy, if I was having a bad time, like that was just my place to release. And to this day it still is that release. I can go to the club, have a shitty day at work, and be able to dance it out and come home and feel better by the next day. My name is Amy Nixon, also known as Tsunami. I'm from the Bay Area, California, and I dance with Circle of Fire and Soulshifters. Coming from a background of classical training, when I danced, everything was on a count. Everything had my arms, my legs, everything had a place. It had to be, precise and in its exact place at the right time. And when I got into my teens, I was kind of stifled in my dance. I felt limited, and I felt like there was something more out there with my dance. And the most memorable and biggest impact was when I was 17. It was 1992, and I went to a rave in San Francisco. It was one of the first parties I had ever been to, and it was called Funky Techno Tribe. And I walked in, it was lasers and smoke and visual projections all over, and everybody was dancing and moving around. And I walked into the main space, and lo and behold, there was a cypher, and it was the first real freestyle cypher I had ever seen, and my mind was just blown. Just seeing these dancers going in the circle and just being total free in movement, wherever the music took them, wherever, whether they were on the floor, they were dancing around, it was just like doing tricks or, spins, and it was just absolutely mind-blowing. And from that moment on, I knew I had a new mission in dance. It was to learn freestyle and house dance and just be able to take what I knew from all my classical training and try to explode it into something totally different. Dance is a huge part of, I think, our community here in the Bay Area. It's definitely supported. There's numerous different dance groups and organizations that help support the arts with the youth. All the Way Live is a huge part of the Bay Area community and does amazing work with the culture of hip-hop, as well as with house and all styles, really, urban styles. Growing up, my culture was more in the dance studio and in a classical form. But as I mentioned, once I broke into more of a freestyle form, it was really the club culture and the rave scene that nurtured my dancing, and the dancers that I became family with, Threat of Physics, predating Circle of Fire, as well as the Soulshifters and a number of Bay Area dance groups. music is a huge part of my development, because without the music, I wouldn't be dancing. Music was an integral part of me growing up. My mother, was a pianist and would play the piano for hours, and I would just spin in the living room the entire time she would play. And and just growing up through ballet, artistic roller skating, all the different forms of dance that I've done, just all my memories link back to certain songs. So, growing up and hearing a certain song over and over and over and over, rehearsing to it for a performance, or, even just, even in the 90s when making mixtapes was a big thing. Like, that was the way we would communicate to, whether it was a boyfriend or a friend, hey, I made you this mixtape, like, this is how I'm feeling, and so music is a huge, huge part of me as a dancer. And you tend to go through different phases of different types of music that you like. Like whether I go through like kind of an emo phase and everything's dark and moody, or if it's just really happy, just, go get it music, you just want to jump around and, just let your heart pour out on the floor. It's so important, and I think it'll always be, a part of my life and a part of me functioning day to day. Growing up in the Bay Area dance scene, I have to say that I was fortunate enough to be a part of the dance scene in the early 90s, mid 90s, where it was a tremendous time in music, and it was a tremendous time in dancers. It was a free-for-all, just everyone, whatever style you were, you were out, you were dancing, it was a really phenomenal time, whether it was hip-hop dancing, breaking, house, everyone was exploring something new, and it was just really, we couldn't get out enough. We were out every night, whether we were in a parking lot, whether we were at a club, whether we were in someone's grandmother's house, in the living room doing flips off the couch. Like, it was such an amazing time. The hard part, I think, was being one of the few women in the community. There, at the time that we were going to raves and competitions, you'd see a B-girl here, a popper here, it was just so far and few in between of women in the community. It really wasn't until, I'd say, the late 90s, early 2000s, where I started seeing, some other women that were really kind of standing on their own and making a name for themselves. Fluid Girl, Karina, Sisters of the Underground were really doing something big with, all styles, was really kind of setting the tone for a lot of women, and, was really inspiring. It's today, it's really amazing to see where the Bay Area dancing has gone. There's a lot of new styles that have really kind of been either reintroduced into the scene of urban dance, whether it's whacking, whether it's hustle. There's a lot of women now gaining more courage and confidence to stand up and say, look at me, check me out, I'm here, I'm just as good as any of the guys, and, just ready to bring it. And I think that's really amazing. There's mixed ingredients here in the Bay that are really standing strong and really, acknowledging the girl power, and it's great. And for a long time it was I just had to be one of the boys. And now myself and these other women can stand up and be recognized as a strong dancer, not just, oh, she's good for a girl, but recognized for being a strong, a powerful and really, well-defined dancer. Tsunami, Circle of Fire, and Soulshifters crew. Just want to give a big shout out to Pandoni Travels. Thank you so much for the opportunity to dance and be a part of your project. Peace.